Oklahoma's November election is already breaking records. Russia is interested in our state's election process, and Oklahoma wins the title for largest education butts again. This is OU Nightly. And it's still 18 days until the election, but through early voting and absentee ballots, voters across the nation and Oklahoma are already casting their ballots in record numbers.
Absentee voting is well underway across the nation, and election officials say the numbers are staggering. The mail-in absentee ballots are pouring into election centers across the country, including here in Norman. The Oklahoma State Election Board says the number of requested absentee ballots is almost certain to break the state record. And at Cleveland County Board, it already has. The state board told OU Nightly that absentee ballot requests through yesterday already exceeded the total number for the 2012 presidential election. Ballot requests are approaching 100,000 compared to the 2012 total of about 80,000.
And Cleveland County officials say the enormous absentee ballot responses have already smashed its records. Total ballot requests as of yesterday topped the 10,000 mark compared to a 2012 final total of only 6,500.
Voters can obtain absentee ballots online and at their county election boards as late as November 2nd. 3 days of early voting in Oklahoma begins Thursday, November 3rd.
Yet, no. That's the message the Oklahoma Election Board sent to Russian officials who asked to come to the Sooner State to study our election process. The board issued the denial yesterday after weeks of evidence that Russia is attempting to influence the outcome of this year's election. Louisiana and Texas also received Russians' requests to observe their election as well.
And election officials across the country are taking steps to ensure security of the election process. As election workers test and repair voting machines, their bosses say the system is not vulnerable to attack. The Oklahoma Election Board told OU Nightly that voters can cast their ballots with confidence. Registered voters must show ID, vote on paper, and put the ballot in a secure ballot box. And they say Oklahoma's voting data cannot be hacked because the system does not use the internet.
And OU Nightly's JC Bayless joins us now in the News Center with the latest on voting security. JC?
Along with Oklahoma election officials, the Director of National Intelligence is trying to ensure the public that U.S. systems are safe from internet hackers.
And also, by the way, we assess it'd be very difficult for anyone, to alter actual ballot counts or election results with a cyber intrusion, particularly since voting machines aren't connected to the internet.
The Al Smith Memorial Dinner is a chance for candidates to poke fun at each other. But last night's lighthearted charity affair dinner turned awkward and drew jeers. Trump implied that Clinton hates Catholics, claimed she is a liar, and brought up her FBI testimony. Clinton said when Trump looks at the Statue of Liberty, he sees a 4. Maybe a 5 if she loses the torch, tablet, and changes her hair.
Replenish the
Such a nasty
trust fund.
Trump's debate remarks has sparked a public uproar. Today, Texas Congressman Brian Babin said, "Sometimes a lady needs to be told when she's being nasty." Many others disagree. Huffington Post producer Alex Berg tweeted she is blessed by all the nasty women who paved the way. And within hours of Trump's remark, Etsy shops jumped at the phrase and are now selling t-shirts, hats, and buttons. And Minneapolis police just released that there will be no discipline for the police officers in the fatal 2015 shooting of a black man.
Thank you, JC.
McAllister native Michael Sorrow was killed Wednesday in Afghanistan. Sorrow was deployed last month for his 3rd deployment. He was an Army civilian employee working in Kabul. He planned to return home in March. Sorrow's remains will be flown to McAllister. Funeral arrangements are pending.
Well, Kyle, it has felt so great outside today.
I'm glad fall's finally arrived.
Agreed.
Ashley, is it going to be here this weekend?
this weekend. However, this morning we did have those low temps across the state, 40 in Norman. Ended up being a nice day outside for today. Currently it is 69 degrees outside. Sunny skies, winds out of the south at 7 miles per hour, and humidity. Temperatures right now are in the upper 60s and 70s for tomorrow. For the temperatures now, your beautiful weekend. Your next rain chances. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Ashley. Sorry for the technical difficulty, but stick around because still ahead on OU Nightly, state regents are worried about budget cuts.
Plus, an OU group is getting a new name.
Welcome back. Colleges in Oklahoma, beware. Budget cuts are now looming. The state regents are hoping to avoid another huge budget cut after a 16% budget cut last session. Oklahoma's per student state funding has dropped to 14% below the national's average.
And for the third year in a row, Oklahoma leads the nation in the deepest cuts to general education funding. The Center on Budget and Policy Priorities says since 2008, nearly 27% of state per pupil funding has been cut.
OU's Gender Inequality Center program will get a new name. The OU Sooner 1 Sexual Assault Prevention Training will be renamed next month. The change comes after OU students gathered outside Evans Hall last week to protest rape culture on campus. Critics of the current name say the word Sooner is exclusive and that it goes against the inclusive nature of the program. Renaming the program was just one of 7 items on the list of demands.
And still ahead on OU Nightly,
a debate watch party in Maine had an interesting solution to ease the stress.
And Ashley is here with weather.
Yep, it's a beautiful day out there today. I'll have your weekend forecast coming up next. Well, welcome back to OU Nightly. I'm Ashley Pratt. Currently, right now, we have some showers and thunderstorms up towards the east coast as are moving off to the north near New York and Ohio. However, right now we are dry here in Norman, and that will be the case for this weekend as well. And lows for tonight will be in the 50s, lower 40s. Highs for tomorrow will be in the mid 70s and a few 80s up there, 81 in Woodward, 86 in Guyman, so a little bit warmer up there in the Panhandle than compared to central Oklahoma. We are around our time of average for this time of year temperature-wise. 8 a.m. to be 59 degrees. We'll have clear throughout the day for tomorrow, or for this evening rather. Midnight will be 53 and chilly, so you might want a jacket if you are going to be out late tonight because it will be a little bit cold. Those of you, I know myself as well, have been suffering with allergies earlier this week. The good news is with this, although mold is still high on the allergy category, grass, weeds, and trees have decreased, so hopefully this has helped your allergies to have gotten better lately. This weekend, we'll have a gorgeous weekend, 76 on Saturday, 78 on Sunday, mostly sunny skies, low of 54. It'll be mostly clear on Saturday and sunny. Again, sunny skies, but we will have those gusty winds that move through on Saturday and Sunday. We do have a high pressure system sitting on top of us that's allowing for all that sunshine to really come in here for the next part of the week. However, Tuesday, we'll have a system move through that'll bring in clouds. And then on Wednesday, we'll have a slight chance for some showers and thunderstorms, just a 20% chance. No severe weather is associated with us at this time. Highs will be in the 80s as we go throughout the week, and our lows will be in the 50s and as well as the upper 60s for the rest part of the week. But you know, guys, this weekend's going to be great. We'll enjoy it, most of the nice weather throughout the rest of the week, and then we'll see some clouds throughout the weekend, and then next week, chance of rain.
Great. Sounds awesome to me.
Really glad nice weather's actually back.
Me too.
Stressed out about the elections? A Maine watch party had a perfect solution. During the debate on Wednesday, 9 rescue cats were brought in to help ease the tension. Portland, Maine's think tank was home to a debate watch party for Trump and Clinton supporters. This election continues to be a huge cause of stress, and kittens seem to be helping the concerned voters relax. That's it for news this Friday night, but don't leave just yet. Big Friday Sports is on deck.
Our sports team will give you an extended look at what's happening in sports. Blakely is here with more.
Thanks, guys. The Sooners are headed to Lubbock for a primetime matchup against the Red Raiders. We'll give you live pregame coverage from some of our sports team in Lubbock. You don't want to miss it. Big Friday Sports is up next. Welcome to Big Friday Sports. I'm Blakely Durham.
And I'm Stephen Mudd. The Sooners are heading to Lubbock tomorrow for a primetime game against the Red Raiders. Blakely, let's get started with the pregame coverage.
That's right, Stephen. 7 p.m. tomorrow night in Lubbock, the Sooners will take on the Red Raiders and their tortilla-throwing fans. The Sooners will be looking for the 11th straight Big 12 win and 4th straight on the season. Texas Tech is coming off 2 tough losses, and given the history between Tech and OU QB Baker Mayfield, the Raiders will be hungry for a win against the Sooners. A win on Saturday for OU would make them 4-0 in the Big 12, the strongest start since 2004.
Hey, speaking of Lubbock, Carson Williams and Reagan Ledbetter are standing by in Lubbock to tell us more about the game. Fellas.
Thank you, Stephen. We are here at Jones AT&T Stadium. All is calm right now, but the Sooners and Red Raiders will be in a heavily favored or a highly anticipated showdown here tomorrow night, Reagan.
It's going to be a big game. The return of Baker Mayfield is a top story for a lot of people. Other things coming in, OU has an offense finally clicking on all cylinders, something the Sooners have been looking for a long time now. But also, on the other side of the ball, the defense, struggling, still coming in here. But, it's a big game, a tough place to play for the Sooners here.
OU will go through a run-through tomorrow morning here at Jones AT&T Stadium. But like you said, they will be looking to start fast like they did last week against Kansas State, the #1 defense in the Big 12. So obviously, they did a very good job against a top defense this week against Texas Tech. Their defense not as high-powered or not as, tough, but,
Giving up 40 points a game.
That's a big thing. Their defense is the Texas Tech defense not very good. I also do think they're going to have to get pressure on Patrick Mahomes. Yeah. He's a very talented quarterback. Maybe some even think he's the most talented quarterback in the Big 12. He's playing a little hurt right now, so I think getting pressure on him and getting him on this AstroTurf is going to be big.
For me, it's about Joe Mixon. Samaje Perine out 2 to 3 weeks. Joe Mixon, the 5-star athlete, finally getting his chance to be the guy. We've been all waiting for this. Everybody in Norman's waiting for Joe Mixon to get his shot at being the guy. He's athletic. He's great in the pass game. He's great in the running game. But it's his time to start in a tough place to play. Can he execute and play at a high level, being the only guy who gets all of the carries? Abdul Adams behind him, a guy who's young, freshman, but been playing very well. Mixon's averaging about 6 yards a carry here. But can Baker Mayfield utilize Joe Mixon in the passing game just as well as he does in the running game?
Yeah, we're going to find out tomorrow. But that's it for now, guys. We'll be back in a minute, but back to you for right now.
Hey, thanks, guys. Well, here is what Mark Andrews had to say about the Sooners offense.
It's all about what we're doing. I think if we're playing consistent and doing everything that we should be doing, I don't think there's many teams in the country that can stop us. So just doing everything right on our end is what we're focusing on.
Well, for me, DEDE Westbrook is going to be key in this game. He's pretty much key in every game for the Sooners. Hear me out, though. Westbrook has accounted for 8 touchdowns in the last 3 games for the Sooners. Without those touchdowns, the Sooners would have lost every single one of those games. Westbrook is on a serious hot streak right now, and there's no doubt that Texas Tech's #1 mindset on defense is to stop him, or at least it should be. Baker Mayfield is going to have a tough game because the Raiders will be gunning for him too, but it's even more important that Westbrook uses his breakaway speed to get open and make those big plays for his QB.
And the OU women's soccer team hosts the Kansas Jayhawks tonight at 7 p.m. for their last game of the season. Tonight, the Sooners will recognize 7 outstanding seniors for their senior night celebration. Liz Keister, Karin Nelson, Shiloh Price, Rachel Ressler, Madison Saliba, and Cassidy Stady have been impactful this year, providing over 55% of the team's offense. Saturday, they travel to California to take on Cal State Northridge.
The #8 men's golf team is heading to Georgia this weekend. They're already there, actually. They will be competing in the Golf Club of Georgia Collegiate Tournament. The 5-man Sooner lineup will include Max McGreevy, Grant Hirschman, Blaine Hale, Riley Riernston, and Brad Dahlke. Oklahoma is currently leading the tournament in the first round at -5.
And don't sleep on the Sooners tennis team. Senior Alex Galea and junior Spencer Pawpaw received round 1 byes in the singles department at the ITA Regionals. Another Sooner making it past the first round today was senior Florin Brogusi after winning 2-1 in Stillwater.
Still to come on Big Friday Sports, the Miami Hurricane and Hokies faced off. We've got the highlights.
And it was an emotional finish for the WNBA Finals last night. Stick around, we've got that coming up next.
Welcome back to Big Friday Sports. We're going to switch gears and look at the defensive side of the ball for the Sooners this weekend.
I'll get us started, Blakely. My X factor for tomorrow's game is Obo Okoronkwo. I know it's mainstream, but he has to be the leader of this pass rush and be a wrecking ball coming around the end. Tech loves to sling it around the field, and Obo needs to apply pressure on Patrick Mahomes in order to take pressure off of the secondary. Obo has 6 sacks on the season, along with 38 tackles and a forced fumble. I would love to see him add 3 sacks and 2 forced fumbles against the Red Raiders. But that's my opinion.
Now we are going to hear what head coach Bob Stoops has to say about the game in Lubbock.
That leads us to going down here this week to Texas Tech. You know, a tough team to play down there. Coach Kingsbury and his offensive guys have really been explosive. You look at the yards and points they've been able to put up have really been strong that way. Excellent. Mahomes, I believe, is an exceptional quarterback, and a lot of good, talented guys there to get the ball to. We'll visit some, but, you know, Coach Riley, I'm sure, will have a strong influence on them and how to handle it, and believe he will. He's, you know, he's not a freshman, and just stick to what's been positive for him and good for him and the way he's executing. Why would you change any of that? You know, so hopefully he can handle that. And that Lincoln, you know, was around Mike. I was around him for a year, but Lincoln was around him for several. But I don't know. They have some similarities, you know. But you know, I think they're both excellent play callers and feeling, you know, what's available to them. And how to get to it. We've been very good up front and picking things up, whether, you know, they're, you know, edge blitzes or whatnot, and reducing minimum or negative plays. Neville he's both. He is a very big guy, but he's very athletic. You know, he was a highly recruited guy. You know, he's a special D lineman. As much as anything, I feel like we've made some progress here in the last few weeks and are improving, becoming more consistent overall as a team. And that's our message, is just to continue to push for more execution and more consistency, you know, as we get in the middle part of the season.
Now, Ashley, why don't you give us a look at weather?
Yeah, Stephen, it's going to be a great day if you're headed down to Lubbock for the game when Texas Tech takes on OU at 7 p.m. It'll be in the upper 70s by time of kickoff. However, as we get towards the end of the game, it'll be in the lower 60s. Winds will be out of the south at 10 miles per hour, and it will be sunny and gorgeous today. So it's going to be a beautiful day for football. Blakely, Stephen, back to y'all.
Thanks, Ashley. Well, college football got started last night between the Virginia Tech Hokies and the Miami Hurricane. Third quarter, let's roll the highlights. Third quarter, 10 minutes left. And Jared Evans finds Bucky Hodges on a 12-yard slant route. Hokies up 23-9. I know that's not the correct video, but Hurricane would answer right back as Brad Kaya finishes.
Okay, well, that is all the time we have. Thank you so much for joining us. Good night. Oh, we'll leave you with the best moments of the week. Sorry, we'll leave you with those.
My apologies.
3. Nope. No good. Missed it. Finley throwing for the end zone, and it is intercepted. Get there. Ball's out. Big hit. They don't do it. Barrett keeps it. Fires. End zone. Brown. Touchdown.
Kind of come off as bad guys when they do things like that. I don't know if they do that to everybody, but it's just kind of like, you know, it's kind of douchey, you know. Is that like okay to say? I mean, don't cut that, let's be honest.
Mixon get a pass. Wide open. Room service, Westbrook. Taking flight, Westbrook from Mayfield.